Hey, Merry Christmas to all my pastors and friends and supporters of Rescue Atlanta. I wanted to come to you and just give you a holiday greeting, and I don't like to call it the holidays. I like to call it the holy days, and I like to express that this is the most wonder-filled time of the year because, man, what a season that's filled with the wonder of who Jesus is. You know, thank you for your love and your support and your prayers at Rescue Atlanta, because to be honest with you, without you, we really couldn't do what we're doing. And that's more than just a little cliche that I'm throwing out to you. It literally is the truth. We could not do this without your love, your support, and your prayers. As we begin to close out another year and enter into a new calendar year, 2010 is going to be very special because Rescue Atlanta is now going to be 21 years of age in 2010. Also on January the 1st, I'm going to find myself turning 51 years of age. And when you're doing something as long as we've been doing it in the city of Atlanta, birthing this thing from scratch, pioneering it as God placed it in our hearts, a lot of people have the misconception that, hey, they've been doing it so long that, well, they've got a good support base, that they're well financed and taken care of. But in actuality, every day here is a miracle. One of my favorite slogans that God dropped in my heart years ago was to trust God every day for everything. And we've got to do just that. Our budget at Rescue Atlanta each month is $40,000. Now, I know that seems like a lot, but we do a lot with that. We have the facility plus all of our vehicles, all of our equipment that we have to go pick up donations in. We also provide, thousands of meals every month. We provide over 100 opportunities for laundry to be done with the homeless throughout the week. We also have showers that run continuously, something that is a huge need in the lives of those that are living on the street, both male and female. And in that $40,000, we've got to believe God for every bit of it. Our constituency being over 90% homeless, there's no way that they can actually give to meet that need. I don't think we'll ever be in the natural and indigenous church being able to take care of ourselves. It's not that the people don't give, they do. They give of tithe and offering and almsgiving, and they even support missions. In fact, we support 17 missionaries, which in the natural, that doesn't make sense, but I really believe that God spoke to my heart years ago. If I'll be concerned about meeting the needs of others, that God will take care of our needs. At Rescue Atlanta, we're not underwritten and we're not supported by any corporation or any individual that's like what some people would call a sugar daddy. And even though that we're a part and affiliated with the Assemblies of God in the Georgia district that we are a part of, there's 240 churches in this district, but we only have about 30 of them that support us on a monthly basis. This past year, it might surprise some people that we really do need to speak in outside churches on a frequent basis throughout the year. We can't do it all the time because we're pastoring a church and our people need us. It's just not some basic salvation message and we're throwing out, just a little piece of candy every week. We study, we hear the voice of God, and we pastor. We impart the Word of God to these people. And so if we're gone on a consistent basis, there's no way that we can really feed and shepherd them the way that they need to be, fed and shepherded. So we really need to get out and preach. But I don't know if it was due to the economy. I don't know if I'm too crazy or people or whatever. But this past year, I think it would surprise you to realize that we only spoke one time on a Sunday morning, one time on a Sunday night, and one time on a Wednesday night, the entire year. And all three of those offerings combined amounted to $2,300 toward our budget. Well, to be honest, we really need to see something bigger than that happen. But at the same time, hey, here we are. We're still going, and which makes it even more of a miracle what God has done at Rescue Atlanta. We've taken in 6 more men to disciple and mentor. They are housed at Rescue Atlanta. They're fed there. We're imparting the Word of God. They are being freed from addictions, and we're looking for them to make their entrance back into society. God is raising up people in just an amazing way here. All of our services, all of our outreaches are completely packed. Hundreds of people are being reached every week with the gospel. It really is a phenomenal thing. But yet, we also realize the seriousness of what we do. This past year, I don't know if anybody that's watching this video had 55 people that attended your church die this past year. But yet, that's what happened at Rescue Atlanta. 55 homeless men and women died on the streets this past year. Some of them died of natural causes. Some of them, ended up, being murdered on the street. Some of them might have been through overdoses, and some of them, because they lost hope, quite possibly could have committed suicide. In fact, not quite possibly, some did. And so we lost 55 people that we had a time in their lives to be able to preach to them and impart to them the gospel. But yeah, they slipped from this life into eternity. And we just pray that we were able to give them, a strong enough message that hopefully they'll be able to spend eternity with Jesus. We also lost 2 of our children this past year, to just fatal, just terrible accidents. One little girl was getting off of a school bus. When they stopped in front of the school bus, when they dropped something, the school bus driver didn't see them and ended up rolling over one of the children and killing them. The other one was being taken to school on a MARTA bus, and her mom was with her and kissed her mom goodbye and got off the MARTA bus. And as she was walking through a crosswalk, it was totally legal what she was doing. Some driver grew impatient and slipped from behind the bus and to pass the bus and ended up striking the little girl and ending her life. So it's very real what we do. It's very sobering what we do. And, we just really need your help. We need your prayers and support. We're facing a very critical time. I know you are as well. Maybe you've suffered a bit because of the economy. And, we have as well. Even though God has met our needs, we're just faced with some incredible challenges right now. In fact, so much so that in the beginning of 2010, if we don't get a miracle offering or breakthrough, we're going to have to radically change some of our outreaches and some of our ministry. Right now we're looking at, and I'm not afraid to admit this, we're looking at about a $30,000 deficit. We're in the red, and we just need a miracle. And so what I'm asking you to do this Christmas season, I don't know if you can give or not, but I do know you can pray. And if you would pray, because we're trusting God to be who He says He is. He's Jehovah Jireh. He's the Lord our provider. He's come through time and time again in our lives, and we're so grateful for that. But yet at the same time, I also know He's El Shaddai, and He's the all-sufficient God. One thing about God, I call Him the overdo-it God, the God that over-answers prayer. He not only meets our need, but He exceeds our need. And He knows that at Rescue Atlanta, that we don't just eat the seed or eat the blessing that He gives us. We know that God blesses us for a reason, not just to meet our need, but so we can sow into the lives of others that are hurting. And so as we close out this little video presentation, I just felt like I wanted to talk to you and give you something to look at. May not be the best picture in the whole wide world, but something to look at for you to be able to pray about and consider, what you can do. If you're not supporting us, would you prayerfully consider that? We really can't do it without your love, your prayers, and support. So from our family, the Rolls family, from Teresa and Christy and Katie and Kylie, my daughters, and Ryan, my son-in-law Patrick, and my grandson Caleb, who are all actively involved in the ministry with us here at Rescue Atlanta, Merry Christmas to you. We love you, and we look forward, should Jesus tarry, to what God has in store in the upcoming year.